We've had a member request how you would model this building in Revit. Mainly the curved roof structure and all the grid and the holes punched through it, and then how you would connect a structural frame to that roof. I just thought it was too good to not pop on YouTube, so let's get into it.
Right then, so we're in Revit and I've just used a standard out-the-box architectural template, and the key in setting us up with this is just laying out some initial reference planes. I can't emphasize enough the importance of reference planes, and I'm going to assume the length of the building is about 30 meters by say 20 meters wide. Just using a road width of say 6 meters, it just looks about that sort of scale. So RP for reference plane. Copy that down. 30 meters. There we go. It's as if I've practiced this a little bit. We want to drag our elevations. So just something like that. And then I'm going to create a wall, just out the box external wall. I'm not going to use center line. I like finish face exterior. Okay, and then we're going to build another one in the middle, and we'll see why in a sec. Let's go to our elevation views. Just drag these across. I just like to have them oversailing a little. Select those walls. And let's just connect them to level 1 for now. Same with this, just a little bit of good practice. Okay. Then we want to split this wall. This is a bit of a hacky way. I'm sure people watching will have a better way, but it's just my little way. And then what we want to do is we want to use these as working planes. But before we do, I want to just check how many floors we've got. So it's ground and plus, well, let's just do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So that is 12 stories. And I've got a little bit of extra room there, but let's just say 12 stories. Let's work on a typical floor to floor height of 3 meters. And then we want to tick constraint multiple and let's get to 12. Okay, so it's a pretty large building. And the reason we want to create those levels is that'll give us enough of a framework for now. To draw our shapes that will become, just dragging all these up, the shapes that will become our lovely form. As I said at the start of the video, the key to this lesson is creating this beautiful wavy grid-like roof. Okay, spot on. So with all that set, we want to go to massing and site, make sure it's set to show mass, form and floors, and then we hit in place mass. From there, we hit spline, pick a plane, that's why the walls are built at the minute, and then ensuring that we're snapping to the point there, the intersection between the reference plane and the floor. We want to draw this first one, which is the swooping side one that goes lower there, and it goes down to 1, 2, 3, just about the 3rd floor. Something like that. Hit escape. Has that gone right to the edge? Yeah. So that'll do. I'm gonna have to give myself a little bit of room that it mightn't be exact as the image, but you get the idea. Then we want to go to the opposite elevation, and we want to create the higher one, which is a similar curve, but see the way it's shallower. So it has a higher point there. So where that was like the 3rd floor, it's another 1, 2, it's another 3 floors up. So pick a plane. We want to pick this elevation this time, or this wall. And the reason you want to use splines or spleens, however you pronounce it, is you've just got those little handles. So just tweak it. Then, if we go to 3D view, we've got the 2 lines in place. Now we could use just those 2 to create our initial roof mass, but you get a straight line between the 2. So what's nice is, see the way, well, sorry, just to explain, see the way there's a bit of a peak there and there. So what we want to do is we want to go back to an elevation, and that's why we built that middle wall, because we want that wall to be used as a thing we can create a plane with. So spline again, and then we want to, oh sorry, see the way it's not prompting me? It's because it's assuming it's on that plane. So placement plane, we want to just go back to pick a plane, and then that one there. And then we want it to be slightly higher again, following a very similar curvature to the shallower one, like so. And the reason we've got these reference planes left and right is that we want the front and back of this, call that the front and that the back, or vice versa. We want that to be flat. The other sides are flat because they're referencing a wall plane. Okay? And then we select those 3, create form, solid form, and there we are. Look at that. Is that not a brilliant shape? That looks like it dips a bit more dramatically. Could we just undo that and maybe just drag that down a floor? I might have got my story heights wrong. Go back to 3D, and how good is that? You know, the way you can just jump back and make that tweak. So that's better. That's more true. So then we can go finish mass. It gives you a little warning about it's only mesh geometry, but don't worry about that, because in the next step we'll sort that out. So that's our big first step. And notice how lovely and clean that line work is as well. It's perfectly square. That'll do us no harm with the next steps. So we want to go to architecture, roof by face. And you just want to, let's just use the roof generic for now. You select that surface and hit create roof. And there we are. The conflict there is with the mesh thing. So we'll hide that. and we've got an actual bit of roof geometry now. In sight, just make sure, again, just hide it there. And I say sight because it just gives you that overview. If we went to level 0, you wouldn't see the top down. And what we want to do is we want to create a vertical opening. And this is the sort of the main next step, really, is that we want to create 2 sets of openings. Number 1 is a nice simple rectangle that gives us the perimeter edge. And then the second one is more complex because we're going to make all those cuts in the middle. So we go vertical opening. It asks us where do we want to make the opening or what object. And then we want to offset that by 500 mil. If we go back to 3D, there we go. Perfect. We then want to unhide our mass. And we want to create another roof by face. This time we can go for the thinner generic roof and we can edit that further down the line. But see the way we've got that nice distinct edge. And although I'm always reluctant, no, actually I was going to say I'm reluctant to delete it, but I will. I won't. Let's hide it. It's always good to have those reference points. And then what we can do with this, I think, is we can push it in. I suppose we don't have to be too precise with it. Even though that is the name of the game with Revit. Let's just do something like that. That's fine. It's such a large scale at that level of overlap is near undetectable. Although it's not letting me select it now, annoyingly. I'll return to that task at the end. Right, so we've got our 125 and we want to repeat the previous step, but we want to, more reference planes. The reference planes will be used to give us a consistent structure. We want that nice, consistent line work, basically. So I'm going to use the array tool. I'm hitting copy first. Actually, apologies. There's no need to hit copy. You just select the array tool there. Then we want to hit move to last. And how many divisions have we got? Probably too many. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's call it 30. Sorry, start point, end point, there we go. Horizontally, we've got, let's just count the triangles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Call it 20 horizontally. Like so. And then that'll give us our framework, although, I do apologise, it's inbound, isn't it? So let me just repeat that step. I'll leave this in because this is part of your normal process. Just a little bit of trial and error. So we want the even spacing to be within that outer frame, don't we? So start again. 30 going that way. I think it doubles up on that last one. But it's fine really, because reference planes don't really do any harm. There's nothing clashing. Sorry, I've got a habit of just hitting copy. So then 20 going that way. There we are. So we've now got perfect little squares. And within the square, we want to make a repeatable, as best we can, a repeatable bit of geometry. So the cut is basically two triangles on end. So let's just give ourselves a little framework. Like so. We've got to consider that there's an offset actually. So let me just drag that down by say 100 mil. This might need a little bit of trial and error. I have done a little bit of practice beforehand, but there's still that little bit of messing because we're considering the hole we're cutting rather than the shape we're making. So it's a little bit counterintuitive. So again, let's offset that by 100 mil. No, let's do 50 mil. And we'll do both sides like so. So there's our triangles. Annoyingly, it doesn't let you use the array tool in this instance. So we've got the two triangles cut, and then there's a consistent structure going through there. So I think that's right. So if we then go to 2, grab the 4, it just makes copying them over a bit quicker. And you can see the beauty of reference planes there. That looks nice and steady. Let's come outside of the grid, just so we're not clashing with anything. I just love the way it highlights the reference plane, so you've got that confidence in your snap, even though other things are trying to put you off a bit. Now this doesn't fully work at this end, does it? We've got that little bit of, like, that end there isn't as consistent as that end there. So maybe, what's the gap? And we'll just halve it 100, right? So we'll just nudge it up by 50 mil, just so it's got that same little indentation at both ends. Okay. Lines cannot intersect. I don't think anywhere intersecting. Oh, we got a bit of doubling up or down here. Right, my apologies. I did just pause the video there just to double check something. And the error was because the corners of each triangle were touching. So I've just created a 20mm offset both sides, just so no two triangles are touching. Let's have a think. Right, so that's our first attempt at it. But what we can see is that there aren't enough cuts. At least you can get an idea, but there just aren't enough cuts. So let's go back to site. And clearly, now what's good is we can just edit that sketch. Clearly, we've missed the invert. So what needs to happen is that wants to live. Let's just turn constraint off. Around there somewhere, doesn't it? Hopefully that doesn't get in the way. So leave that with me because I need to just tweak that. Leave that with me. I will add those extra cuts to this pattern, and once that's done, I'll be back with you. Right, so that's all added in, and I will be providing the finished model in the description below. It'll be linked below, so you can have a good look at this and maybe even just copy the pattern. But I think it's very, very worthwhile to have a good interrogation of this. So all the other triangles are in, and we're in. Check that out. Happy days. Not a bad attempt for what's it been, half an hour or so. So if we just do it side by side, there are differences. You'll notice that the diagonals of theirs is a little thicker. Our pattern is a little more consistent, if you like, where they've gone for a bit more of a alternating pattern, which is, you know, fair enough. And that is just developed by changing the sketch of the vertical cut. So I wouldn't get too bogged down with that. Well, I'm not going to get bogged down with that, I suppose, for the purpose of this. And then I wonder if I can just pull that in without affecting the middle bits. It's a heavy piece of geometry now, so it's taking its time. Hopefully you can apply this to a smaller scheme. Yeah, there we go. So to not waste any more time on the recording, let me just... It's frustrating that you lose the ability to select it, almost. There we go. When you pull those handles in, it's like you lose the ability to select it. So I just used like a filter selector to just help me out. I'm going to actually undo that, and I wonder whether the easier option is to just stretch this out. The reason I'm thinking about this is that I don't want the edges of that to clash. Could I just pull that out a bit? So that's easier because obviously it's a lighter bit of geometry. So we'll just do something like that. It does thicken that perimeter, but it'll do for now. We're just talking principles for now. Okay, that's good. And then we can select out of the roof. There we go. And then what I want to do is I want to offset. Where are we? Level offset minus 250. Or maybe, oh, was the other 400mm depth, but that'll still do us. Although it does look flush. It looks flush on both sides actually, but I prefer to have a little bit of a reveal. There we go. So we've got a little bit of a little reveal both sides. I think that looks a little more interesting in my opinion. Right, one last thing I'm going to discuss, and then I am going to just reserve the remainder to a time lapse, if you like, just to see me modelling the rest of it, because the rest of it is just walls and curtain walls. If you want to learn more about Revit, please head to ArchAdemia.com. I think we've got 4 courses now on Revit, all different levels, all different kind of case studies as well. So if you want to really master Revit, please head to ArchAdemia.com and join us as a member. Anyway, plug aside, what I then want to do is load in a column, or have I already got them? No. So a recent addition to Revit has been the Load Autodesk family. Some of this used to get installed on your machine, but it's gone cloud-based now, and I actually prefer it. So where are we? Columns. There we go. Column round. Load. And that loads in architectural columns. There we go. Round. Let's go to level 0. And how many have we got? 1, 2, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Is one in the corner? Yeah. Column, architectural. Let's go 300mm diameter. See what that looks like. Oh, I can get rid of the walls now. Sorry. And we know that the reference planes are giving us that information. Let's go 300mm for now anyway. And then same again. There's 10. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then we select them, attach to that roof. Now sometimes you do get this with curved geometry, that it's just not fully accepting it, if you like. So then you can just offset. Where is it? There we go. Offset from attachments at top and just add like, I don't know, 300mm, something like that. And you know then that it's just punching through. That's what we want to see. There's probably a bit more room just to be a little pedantic. I'll just move the M1s. Like so. Let's grab them. Move them across. It's probably on a grid actually, so let's... How many across are we? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So instead of doing that, let's use the good old array tool. And we want a total of 6. We want to tell it our endpoint. There we go. Now that should work, other than the fact that roof is offset. That is almost perfect. I don't know what's up with that one. Now, what we could do with that is grab the inner ones and attach them to that roof. So that's sort of them penetrating through. Got the odd little anomaly there, but it's not too bad. I'm not entirely sure what the issue is. Could we just enter the manual height? Yeah. So that's how we'd sort them too, but you know what, for to not drag on. There we go anyway. So that's how you do that sort of roof. I think it's brilliant that you can model stuff like that in Revit. It's similar to your Rhino, Grasshopper sort of approach. I think it's very simple using splines. And then the fact that we can then add a structural grid to it. Like so, yeah, I wonder whether we can make them a little bit thinner. Anyway, and then you can add a structural grid and then you can attach it to that so it follows that curvature. Absolutely fantastic. So please stay tuned. I am going to just model away the rest of the building. I'm going to set it to a time lapse and a bit of music, but I think it's still worth you watching it, get a cup of tea, follow along, and obviously download the finished model in the description below. So thanks for watching. Please like, comment on the video. Let's engage. It does help the algorithm, but let's engage anyway, because I'm here to help. And yeah, please, if you're interested in our offer anymore, please head to ArchAdemia.com. And if you want to drop me an email, it's adam@archademia.com. Thanks.